Alright, y'all, I'm gonna do a little short video on the cold air intake for a 2020 Chevrolet Silverado LT Duramax 3.0. Um, so the instructions you definitely need to follow to a T. Most of it's pretty much self-explanatory, minus a couple things I would say that I wish I had known. It probably would have made things a lot easier. That's why I'm making this video. So if y'all get this cold air intake by S&B filters, yeah. So yeah, it's by S&B filters. I really like it. It actually made a big difference on the throttle response. But yeah, and you can hear the turbo and all that good stuff. But anyway, so what I'm gonna show you is, okay, first of all, here's the factory rear air tube for the intake. So this thing is an absolute pain in the ass to get out. So the instructions tell you to just pull up on it until you feel it dislodge. Yeah, okay, that's fine and dandy. Yeah, you do pull up on it, but you pull up on it from this end, so it'll be in there just like this. Also, what it doesn't tell you is when you pull up on it, you have to push back towards the firewall to get it out. So you pull up, push back, and then pull out. Something to do with that little notch right there that grooves onto the intake, and that little snap pin or groove deal, the rubber boot that you will see that you got to put on the new intake as well. It comes with a little metal bracket and 2 screws and a rubber boot that's basically mimics this. Anyways, so I pulled up and then pushed back, and then it came out perfectly fine. So initially I was just pulling up on it and trying to pull it out. That did not work. I don't know what it is about pushing back towards the firewall. Like I said, I think it's this little notch right here. And make sure it comes off the boot first before you try and remove it, or else you're gonna catch hell too. So make sure this one's loose. You don't have to undo this one, just do this one. What else? Okay, when you go and try and get the factory air box out, I caught hell trying to get that thing out, even with, because you have to remove this coolant reservoir. You unsnap this from, there's a little snap bracket on the box. You unsnap it from. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you one thing it also didn't tell me to do, unless I missed it. So it says there's 3 snaps for the zip ties for your disconnect on the box. There's 2 in the front, and then there's 1 back here. So you need to undo that one as well. You'll see it's on the wire. One of the biggest things that it also didn't tell me to do till afterwards was the steps. I think, in my opinion, are out of order. So remove this first, take that bolt out, and take this out. Well, you won't be able to remove it, but it's going to give you some wiggle room when you go and try to get this out of the way, because the rubber boots on the back of this air box, on the factory air box, has a really hard time clearing this coolant reservoir, and it hits. So I tried sliding the boots off. That kind of helped. What I recommend, slide the rubber booties off if you can get to them once you get them out of the little holes, and then take this bolt out right here. So that will allow you to, excuse me, I almost dropped my phone. That will allow you to slip this off of the tabs right here. But you have a choice. I didn't take any coolant lines apart, but if I were to take any one apart, it would be this line right here. Just take it off of the reservoir. Don't snap the nipple off, because yeah, wouldn't want to know how much this reservoir costs. But take this line off, and move it to the side. That will give you some room, so when you go to remove that factory air box, you'll have plenty of room to get it out, because it kept hitting on the bottom of the reservoir and I couldn't get it out. You also have to kind of twist the air box in a way that you tilt it forward out of the notches and then kind of turn it, because this is still going to be in your way unless you want to disconnect the lines. I didn't want to open the coolant system too much and introduce a bunch of air and whatnot, and end up having to try to bleed air and yada yada yada, lose coolant or make a mess. So I just did it the hard way. I'm just trying to tell you guys the easiest way to do it that would have made this job go a lot faster. The instructions say it takes 2 hours. Yeah, it takes 2 hours if you don't fight with that stupid intake piping in the back. So you have an option to not take that pipe off, and you can use the factory pipe if you would like to, and use the connector boot right here. I don't know if you can see that. If you use the connecting boot, let me see if I can turn the light on. No. Alright, well, there's a boot right there anyway. It's right after the sensor. You can connect it to your factory one right there instead of having to take it out. I opted to take it out just because I wanted I paid the full price for it. I'm going to use every part in the box. That's just how I thought about it. So, yeah, but as far as I can tell, I think that was the last thing. The only thing I really had a difficult time with. Other than that, everything else is pretty easy. This by far is the hardest part, but like I said, it would have been easier if I had known to pull up and push back towards the firewall to get it out. So you pull up, push back towards the firewall, and then kind of try to rotate it towards the driver's side of the truck, and it'll come right out. That's obviously after you loosen the hose clamp on the turbo side. Other than that, getting this airbox in is kind of tricky because, but like I said, I didn't take this line off. But had I known it, probably, beforehand, I was just so anxious to get it done. I should have just kind of took my time and evaluated the situation as a whole. I would have took this line off. That would have gave me a lot more freedom to move around. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, other than that, it goes in pretty easy. But like I said, just taking this line off will give you more freedom to move this reservoir around, so you'll be able to get the box in and out. Get the factory box out and the new one in. That'll give you plenty of room. So yeah, but hopefully this video helps you guys out. I know for the longest I was trying to find a cold air intake that was in stock, so I was finally able to find one. Oh man, security light. Yeah, so I was finally able to find one in stock. So, and I did opt for the oiled, rewashable, reusable filter. So, yeah. So, if you guys want or have any questions about anything, leave a comment below, and yeah, like, subscribe. This is gonna be my first of hopefully many videos, depending on how this one goes. I'm gonna try and do more videos on this truck, upgrades. My next thing will probably be some kind of a tuner or an exhaust. It's just pending just the time, and time makes mainly time. But all right, I'm out.